Motor vehicles. We're going to learn more about how you can protect yourself.
And new nonstop flights from PSP. Exciting those heading to the East Coast for the holidays. We'll tell you more on what's being offered ahead.
And temperatures dipping below average as we get into later this week. We'll more on that full forecast coming up. NBC Palm Springs at 5 starts right now.
Now, this is NBC Palm Springs.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Olivia Sandusky.
I'm Mark Messer. California Highway Patrol hopes their new low-profile vehicles will make people think twice before they drive recklessly. That's tonight's top story. Our Brett Rosen joins us live in the studio tonight with more on what locals are saying about these new vehicles. Brett?
Mark, like you said, the hope CHP has is that these low-profile vehicles will make the road safer. However, when speaking to locals around the valley, they tell me it might instead create a feeling of anxiety.
Why are you going so fast, man? You're gonna kill somebody.
Late to a doctor's appointment.
Yeah, but what if you never make it to that appointment?
California Highway Patrol Officer David Torres says the new low-profile CHP vehicles have been done before. He says the Dodge Durangos were first introduced in May, but the Coachella Valley got their Durango in June. Officer Torres says the low-profile vehicle goes out on patrol every single day. He says the point of the vehicle is to make sure people understand to follow the law at all times, and not just when they see a regular CHP car.
People are in and out of traffic at high rates of speeds, and they're kind of playing a video game with real-life traffic. And so we want to catch those people. Whenever a person sees a black and white patrol vehicle, they modify their behavior. And so with this one, at least they won't be able to tell it's a patrol vehicle until we're really close or they're right next to us and they can see the CHP star on the side of the doors.
Officer Torres says the Dodge Durangos are purposely made to look like they just came from the dealership lot. The paint job is the same, only a matted CHP logo on the side of the car. People can only tell it's law enforcement when looking at the license plate or if they are side by side with the vehicle. And sometimes that's already too late.
Yeah, so the whole point of this car is to look like a normal vehicle. Watch the chicken. He doesn't even know until now. Boom. He was kind of super fast. So I don't know if you saw, but he was zooming through the normal lane, and he didn't hit the brakes until he saw the CHP on the side.
Where California Highway Patrol hopes this will create a sense of peace and safety on the road, some locals say this could create a feeling of anxiety.
I think it's like safer in the idea of it for sure, but it's just more like, again, just wanting to distinct a lot of who is and who isn't, you know?
There's already a kind of a climate of distrust with law enforcement right now, so it feels a little deceptive, and people may feel strange about pulling over for a car that's not clearly marked as a law enforcement car.
Now, Mark and Olivia, on my ride along with Officer Torres, 2 vehicles were pulled over. One for speeding and the other for being on their cell phone. Both saying to Torres, "I didn't see you." Live in studio, I'm Brett Rosen, NBC Palm Springs.
Thank you, Brett. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside from our Agua Caliente casino camera tonight, looking towards the pass there in Rancho Mirage. A hot day out there as we have Chloe Carlson here at the desk with us, but I will say, better than last week, and I will take that.
Oh my goodness, yes. I felt like my skin was actually cooking last week with the 1 teens that we saw all week long. Still gonna be hot here in the desert because we are in the desert, but much cooler than the 1 teens.
Thankfully.
So yes, that is a win. And then we're talking about humidity, so sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, and then there's the bad news. The cup half full and half empty. There you go. 107 right now in downtown Palm Springs for the high right now. 6 miles per hour from the north for those winds, so light winds at this hour as well. That's something that will change a little bit as we get into our Tuesday. Some gusty winds in the afternoon and evening hours. So wind gusts right now, winds still from the west direction for the San Antonio Pass there. Single digits for us here on the desert floor. Now I'm talking about those winds picking up. Still not going to be wind advisory level winds, so that's good news, but just keep that in mind with your Tuesday commutes. We do expect it to pick up a little bit. So a lot going on in the atmosphere for this week. We still have this ridge of high pressure over Southern California. That's going to start to back off for the course of the next couple of days, but as the center of that system will be over Arizona, it's going to drop some of that monsoonal moisture. That, accompanied with some disturbances to the north, will produce some storms possibly as we get into our Thursday and Friday. Friday, more so for our mountains and the high desert, but something to keep in mind. I was mentioning it just a second there with Olivia and Mark, but very humid conditions as we get into later this week. So yeah, slightly below average for later this week, but unfortunately, yeah, we're talking about humidity and a little bit, again, a chance of rain for those mountain communities and for those that are up in the high desert. Let's take a look at the Comfort Air 3-day forecast. We're going to be at 108, so seasonal for our Tuesday, slightly below average as we get to our Wednesday and Thursday, back to those seasonal conditions as we get into the weekend. We'll break down more you can expect in that full forecast coming up.
Chloe, thank you. More local headlines tonight. Former NFL quarterback John Elway will not be charged in the death of his friend and business partner Jeffrey Spurbeck. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco telling Denver's 9 News on Friday they spoke with everyone involved. They found nothing new or criminal in this case, saying it was, quote, simply a tragic accident. Spurbeck was 62 years old. He suffered a traumatic head injury the night of April 28th. This was at the Madison Club in La Quinta when he hit his head on the pavement after falling from a golf cart. The Riverside County Coroner's Office said he died from blunt head trauma. Elway was driving the golf cart. He was questioned by sheriff's deputies, but not arrested.
We have an update tonight on the I-10 collision that happened near Cathedral City last Thursday. Authorities identified the 2 people who died in that crash. Over the weekend, the family of one of the victims, Francisco Leon, out of Desert Hot Springs, shared their GoFundMe with us. According to the description on the fundraising site, Leon is survived by his wife and 3 daughters and was the sole provider for the family through his job at a local nursery. They're asking for your support during this difficult time. The GoFundMe can be found on the newsroom section of our website. That's NBCPalmSprings.com.
Gas prices are on the move again here in Riverside County. After a 6-day streak of declines that shaved off 3 cents, the average price for a gallon of self-serve regular rose slightly today, up to $4.36. That's nearly 9 cents lower than a month ago, over 30 cents less than this time last year. Since peaking at a record $6.37 in October of 2022, local prices have dropped more than $2. Nationally, the average price held steady at $3.15 following 3 straight days of small decreases.
Cathedral City is reducing the speed limit on more than 10 streets. Starts next week. Move that the city says will improve safety on the roads. The new speed limits will take effect July 25th in the following areas: Date Palm Drive from Vista Chino to 30th Avenue. It'll change from 55 to 50 miles per hour. Palm Date Drive from the 10 to Varner Road. That'll go from 60 to 55. And Ramon Road from Date Palm Drive to Numa Drive. That'll change from 50 to 45 miles per hour. If you'd like to see the full list of the changes across the city, you can go to our website. We've posted it there. That's NBCPalmSprings.com.
And Cathedral City is also looking to get recognized for its significance to California culture. The city's Historical Preservation Board is seeking a cultural district designation from the state. According to staff reports, that designation comes with a $10,000 grant, which a few projects have been considered for, including pedestrian bridges and a community scavenger hunt. Their application is due to the state by August 7th.
The Palm Springs International Airport announcing a new nonstop service. United Airlines is now offering flights directly from Palm Springs to Newark, New Jersey. Service starts December 18th of this year. Marks the first time in over 5 years the airline has regularly flown this specific route. Scam texts posing as messages from the Department of Motor Vehicles are hitting phones across the valley. They're trying to trick people into giving up their personal information.
NBC Palm Springs' Caitlin Kelly explains how you can spot a scam.
Scam alert. People are getting fake text messages and seeing social media ads with links that pretend to be from the DMV asking them to take action.
If you've gotten a text from the DMV lately, pump the brakes. It could be a scam, speeding straight for your personal info.
Oh yes, I got a scam text message also telling you to the DMV needs money for something you owe for, which you don't. It's just an obvious scam.
Cathedral City resident Locke Reese has seen these scam texts roll in like clockwork, but he's not falling for it.
Well, partly the number +63 907 that tells you it's out of country. It's saying that you owe money for a past due ticket, and I don't owe any money for a past due ticket. So,
according to the California DMV website, the DMV will never ask for personal or financial information by text. So if you get one, don't open it or reply. Stay alert and protect your information.
Some good information tonight. Our Caitlin Kelly with that report. Coming up next year on NBC Palm Springs, is the heat impacting your mood? We have the latest research about how desert temperatures could affect your mental health.
Also tonight, a new ruling from the nation's highest court, how it'll impact the Department of Education.
And the summer at the Sandlot will be a lasting memory for a group of Palm Desert All-Stars. We'll have their story coming up in sports.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 5.
Welcome back. Millions of Americans could be impacted by seasonal affective disorder. It's a form of depression typically seen in fall and winter months, but experts say some people can also experience it in the summer as well. Mandy Gaither has details.
The heat and humidity may make you a bit grumpy, but for those with underlying mood disorders, the season can amplify symptoms.
The difference between someone who's experiencing sort of normal stress-related response to heat versus something that might be more of a problem really depends on if it persists.
Psychologist Louisa Sylvia with Massachusetts General Hospital says if feelings of irritability, frustration, anger, or stress last for days and begin to impact family, school, or work, that may be a red flag.
Heat can impact serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter in the brain. And already people with mood disorders have a dysfunction in that neurotransmitter. So heat sort of exacerbates or makes mood worse in those folks who have that sort of genetic vulnerability for mood disorder.
Sylvia says if you notice changes in sleep where you're getting less and changes of energy when you're feeling more energetic despite the lack of Z's, those are also red flags to see a doctor.
You need to drink a lot of water to stay hydrated. Also prioritizing your physical health, trying to get out when you can, particularly early in the morning or later at night when it's cooler, staying cool with air conditioning if you have it, or staying near water if you're capable, or at least trying to stay in the shade and around fans.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
In some news across the country this evening, the Supreme Court is allowing the Trump administration to continue with their cuts to the Department of Education. The originally planned mass layoffs of the DOE were previously blocked by a federal judge. But in a 6-3 vote, the conservative majority court granted an emergency application to block the ruling. The court's 3 liberal members voted no. When taking office earlier this year, President Donald Trump issued an executive order saying his administration would, quote, take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education.
An increase in the price of stamps took effect this weekend. A jump in prices, in fact, now costs 78 cents, up from 73 cents for a first-class Forever stamp. Prices for other services were also bumped up. Sending a postcard will cost you 61 cents. That's up from 56. And mailing postcards and letters internationally also saw a 5-cent jump to $1.70. The move officially went into effect on Sunday. The price increase is the 10th in just the last 9 years. The cost of a stamp going up nearly 66% over that time, according to the USPS's data.
Nothing gets people shopping like a good sale. Amazon proving just that during its annual Prime Day event, which was last week. They saw record numbers. The online retailer saying that 2025 was the biggest Prime Day ever, with more than $24 billion in estimated sales. Prime Day lasted 4 days this year for the first time, with more items sold than ever before. The most common purchases were kids' apparel, home security products, and school supplies.
And with that, let's take a live look outside our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera this evening. Hot temperatures, but thankfully cooler than what we've seen for the previous days in July. Chloe Carlson's in. She's tracking your 7-day forecast the rest of the work week, so stay with us.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
And happy Monday, everyone. Welcome back. We are taking a live look right now at the Walter Clark Harlem Cam in Rancho Mirage. A few birds I think we're flying through right there. Clear skies for the most part today. That's going to change as we get to later this week. No traffic there on the 111 because you're all at home watching NBC, I get it. But much cooler conditions, well, a little bit cooler than what we saw last week, 107.4 the high today. So we are right around seasonal today. That'll stay consistent into our Tuesday as well. Actually dipping below average as we get into the middle of the week. So you don't need the jackets because it's still going to be above 100 degrees. But worth mentioning, you're not going to maybe feel as hot as last week felt. But we made it through. We survived last week. I was a little nervous because 1 teens almost every single day. At this hour, up in the high desert, Desert, 94 degrees in Joshua Tree, 103 in Desert Hot Springs for the other cities here in the Coachella Valley, 108 in Coachella, still 103 in Indio. Overnight tonight we'll be in the high 70s, low 80s here for the desert floor. Looking at those winds, I mentioned this a little bit earlier, they'll pick up a little bit as we get into our Tuesday. So 30-mile-per-hour sustained winds, so those gusts will be in the 40s, but like I said, will not reach that threshold for wind advisory level winds. So that's good news there, but just keep in mind with your commutes, Tuesday evening it will be picking up for those wind-prone areas. Desert Hot Springs, you know the usual suspects there, the gas stations there right off the 10. It's going to be a little rough tomorrow, but more breezy as we get into our Wednesday and Thursday. This is interesting because we usually are 5% for relative humidity. These numbers up much more this week because what I talked about a little bit earlier, we're talking about that ridge of high pressure that is going to be to the east of us, but because of those winds being from the southeast direction, it's going to be drawing up some of that moisture, that monsoon moisture from Mexico as we get into later this week. So Wednesday, it'll affect us a little bit. Those numbers rising a little as far as humidity numbers as we get into Thursday, more so affecting us. A chance of showers and thunderstorms for our Thursday and Friday. A little bit of cloud cover as well. Chances stronger on Friday for those thunderstorms and chance of rain. Light rain at best, but worth mentioning that's what we're forecasting. More so, it's going to be the eastern part of the California and into Arizona for most of that rain, but a chance for us to see a little bit here. There you go, in Southern California. Highs on Thursday, going to be below average. Here's a look at your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. Seasonal through Tuesday, then below average for the rest of the work week. Back to seasonal by Sunday.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Well, a group of all-stars in Palm Desert will remember this summer far more for what happened off the field than what they've accomplished and experienced on the field. Our intern, Lane 40, shares their story.
Go! Get the down! There we go!
In the desert, where summer never really stops, a group of 12-year-old boys is making history. The Palm Desert All-Star Baseball team is the first local squad to ever reach Pony Regionals. They didn't do it with year-round travel or elite training. They did it by playing everything.
Palm Desert, the talent level in the Palm Desert rec system is equivalent to a lot of these travel teams out there. These are multi-sport kids, right? They don't focus on just baseball all year round like you would on a travel team.
Their coach says that's the point. He doesn't want them to specialize. Not yet.
I don't want him to focus on baseball yet. I want him to play everything. And same thing with everybody else, right? They're getting a broader perspective of sports.
A roster full of kids who hoop, play soccer, or strap on football pads and bring all that back to the diamond.
Yeah, I'm a goalkeeper for La Quinta Select. Understanding of other sports.
That mix of skill sets makes them dynamic, but it's their chemistry that makes them even more dangerous.
Together, we all know each other like that whole family right now.
That showed up in a game they didn't even win. Down big, Most teams would have quit. This team didn't.
I remember we were losing by like 10 runs maybe. We made a really good comeback. Didn't win, but I think we scored like 9 runs in the last inning.
That loss didn't go in the win column, but it stuck with them, and exactly what their coach wants them to take away from the game.
Baseball teaches you how to lose. If you do your job 30% of the time, you're an all-star.
Learning how to lose might be the reason they're winning.
I think that's kind of when I realized that this team has really good potential.
Now that potential is real, and the goal, it's simple.
Crazy. I mean, I feel like being the best team and going around and going all the way better than anybody else, that would be special.
A regional run built on backyard games, rec ball, and the love for all sports. The Palm Desert All-Stars are proving you don't have to specialize to be something special. For NBC Palm Springs, I'm Lane 40.
Well, the squad went 1-1 over the weekend, eventually losing in the quarterfinals to Murrieta, ending their dream summer run, but still made history. That'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
Some great kids there. Thank you, Tim. In entertainment news tonight, movie, music, and streaming news as well, beginning with a look at the life of a rock and roll Hall of Famer. Here's David Daniel with tonight's Hollywood Minute.
We just wanted to make as much noise as possible. I didn't know one person who liked what we were doing. I loved it.
The official trailer is out for Billy Joel and So It Goes. The first half of the Piano Man documentary debuts Friday on HBO Max, with the second half premiering the following Friday.
Which one's the least expensive? That one, but you get what you pay for. True.
There's more in store for Murderbot fans. Apple TV Plus has renewed the comedic thriller for a second season. Alexander Skarsgård stars in the show as the title self-hacking security robot.
Ready?
Let's do it, Cronkite.
Superman.
Miss Lane.
Superman star David Corenswet says he enjoyed playing Clark Kent more than the Man of Steel.
The cape helps, but still, it was a nerve-wracking experience walking out for the first time for all to see. With Clark, it's a lot more fun because you're sort of hidden in the clothes and the glasses hide your face, the hair's in front of the face. You feel a bit more incognito, which is appropriate. And so also, I think you have permission to have a little more fun.
In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Finally tonight, the Starbucks secret menu, apparently no longer a secret. Coffee chain is making it easier for rewards members to find a new drink and the hacks that come with it with a tab on its app. Starbucks is also holding a contest where customers can submit their best customized beverage this very week. Drinks will be voted on, with finalists receiving cash prizes, including $25,000 to the winner. You can start building your drink in the Starbucks app right now.
I could see you doing that. You've got a good order.
I'm very excited for this, yes. I have very difficult orders. I probably go through the line, they're like, no.
Can we hear it? We've got 10 seconds.
Vanilla sweet cream, extra sweet cream with the hazelnut ice, and extra foam on top. This is one of them.
Submit it.
Nightly News is next, back in 30 minutes. We'll see you then.